Our headlines today. Fears of a wider war in the Middle East after Israel kills Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, one of the most influential figures in the region.
He died in an airstrike in Beirut, and as the bombing continues, Nasrallah's ally, Iran, says his death will not go unavenged.
MP Rosie Duffield quits the Labour Party over what she says are Sir Keir Starmer's cruel policies and hypocrisy over his acceptance of gifts.
We all had our faith in Keir Starmer and a Labour government, and I feel that voters and activists and MPs are being completely laughed at and completely taken for granted.
17 people have been shot dead in 2 mass shootings on the same street in the same rural town in South Africa. One person is in a critical condition in hospital. Police say a search is underway for the suspects after 2 homesteads in the town of Lusisiki in the Eastern Cape province were targeted. 9 people have been killed in twin Russian drone strikes on a hospital in Ukraine's northeastern city of Sumy, according to Ukrainian officials. The building was first hit on Saturday morning and then again as rescuers were evacuating people. A nurse and police officer who had been aiding the evacuation were among those killed in the strikes. Now, a SpaceX crew bound for the International Space Station took off on Saturday with a mission to shuttle back 2 stranded NASA astronauts. Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore were meant to return to Earth after a brief mission, but technical problems with the Boeing Starliner craft turned an 8-day test into what will be an 8-month mission. Well, the SpaceX capsule has 2 seats reserved for the stranded astronauts and will make its way home in February 2025.
And we'll find out how Strictly contestant Chris McCausland is inspiring the next generation of blind dancers.
Now, on Monday, Philip Schofield will be back on TV screens for the first time in more than a year. He stepped down from ITV's This Morning after admitting to an affair with a younger employee. The 62-year-old will appear on Channel 5's reality series Castaway, which sees him stranded on an island off Madagascar for 10 days. Now, there's definitely maybe a chance that Oasis fans who weren't able to get tickets for their sold-out UK tour could be in luck a second time round. The band has hinted at a major announcement tomorrow.
Yes, they've posted photos on social media of Noel and Liam Gallagher on billboards in different cities with the headline, "Be careful what you wish for."
So the suggestion is, I think, there might be a world tour in the pipeline. I think that's the idea, because obviously they announced those dates all across the UK, plus Dublin.
Dublin was the only international date.
But it looks like they may be extending
so
the
people
tour idea a bit further.
People who missed out could be poised, could be getting ready to go for that whole flurry of...
So if you didn't buy them for 350 quid, you can go and buy them for like 150 quid somewhere else, but then just add on the flights and the hotels.
But sometimes it works out cheaper to do it. Yeah, do it that way.
Well, maybe. I think I'm slightly over it all now. I had enthusiasm, it's gone, long gone.
Did you not get tickets?
No.
Oh, OK, sorry.
I'm fine with that.
Let's take a look at the front pages today. And Iran threatens vengeance is the Observer's headline. The paper focuses on the conflict in the Middle East after the assassination that we were talking earlier about of Hezbollah's chief Hassan Nasrallah. Iran's supreme leader has warned his death will not go unavenged as the country holds 5 days of mourning.
The Sunday Telegraph quotes Conservative leadership candidate Kemi Badenoch, who says not all cultures are equally valid when it comes to immigration. She's told the paper it's naive to think migrants will abandon their ethnic hostilities when they come to Britain.
And the Sunday People has an exclusive which claims that UK police have joined the probe into the US rapper Sean Combs, known as P. Diddy, over fears that women here were sexually abused by him.
Now, just reflecting on the weather today, which is a bit colder and wetter than it was yesterday, but this is something that we should appreciate while we can, because the Royal Horticultural Society has projected forward 50 years to work out what the climate's going to be like for managing their gardens in their properties around the place. And it's basically going to be hotter and drier everywhere, which is perhaps no surprise, except in Manchester and the northwest of England. So this area here that we're very familiar with will be like a little, not quite microclimate, but a refuge for certain species that can only thrive in cooler, wetter climates. So all the kind of species that will perhaps be under threat in other parts of the country, they're going to really specialise in this part of the world. So it's a reason to be appreciative.
OK, so anyone
of the damp
who neglects their houseplants should bring them to Manchester and leave them outside for a little in the future. A very interesting one in the inside of the Mail, how your bookshelves say quite a lot about you. Are they just really wallpaper rather than an indication of what you've actually read?
This was a big thing in lockdown, wasn't it?
Yes.
When everyone was doing Zooms and your background, in theory, said quite a lot about you, who you were.
And then Liz Truss was mocked for appearing to have her books ordered by colour behind her during a recent clip. But a lot of people say that they have those books there as a form of decoration without actually reading them. 9% say they pick covers because they complement the aesthetic of their homes.
Really?
Well, apparently so.
Have you read every book on your bookshelves?
Not every book.
Yes.
I've learned that buying books and reading them are two very different hobbies. And every time I buy another book and add it to the shelf and the shelf sinks a bit more in the middle, I'm worried that there's going to come a point like Jenga where the whole lot's going to come crashing down.
You need a one-in, one-out policy.
I know.
It's the only way
I'm reading
to
a very
work
good
it.
one at the moment.
Yeah.
It's called Why Can't We Just Print More Money? It's by the Bank of England. It's all about, you know, the questions that seem so obvious but have a much more complicated answer.
That's the way you roll. That's the kind of thing that you read to relax.
That's my crazy free time reading.
Yeah.